Why Jeen can't control Spider-Man in Brand New Day. Have you ever stopped to think about something that almost nobody is talking about? Jean Grey is one of the most powerful telepaths in the entire Marvel Universe. She has entered countless minds, read memories, calmed dangerous people, and even fought some of the strongest psychic beings ever created. So, if someone like Jean can influence almost anyone, why wouldn't she simply control Spider-Man? Wouldn't that instantly end the fight? At first glance, it sounds like a plot hole. But what if it isn't? What if Peter Parker's mind is one of the hardest minds in Marvel to control? Today, we're exploring a Marvel theory, not an official explanation from Spider-Man, Brand New Day, but a fascinating possibility that could explain why Jean may struggle to control Spider-Man. To understand this theory, we first need to understand Peter Parker himself. Most people see Spider-Man as a friendly neighborhood hero who cracks jokes in every battle. But beneath the humor is someone who has lived through constant pain. Peter has lost Uncle Ben, watched friends suffer, sacrificed his own happiness countless times, and repeatedly chosen responsibility over his own future. Every one of those experiences shaped his mind. Instead of breaking him, they made his determination stronger. Peter doesn't ignore fear, he learns to fight through it. That kind of mental resilience could make his thoughts far more difficult to dominate than they appear. But here's where things become even more interesting. Peter never stops thinking. Throughout almost every comic and movie, his mind is constantly racing. He's analyzing his surroundings, calculating physics, predicting enemy attacks, worrying about civilians, and making jokes all at the same time. Imagine trying to read a single book while thousands of pages are flying through the air around you. That's what entering Peter Parker's mind might feel like. His thoughts are chaotic, fast, and constantly changing. A telepath like Jean may be able to read those thoughts, but controlling them could be far more difficult than controlling someone with a calm, focused mind. Then there's Spider-Man's greatest hidden weapon, his spider sense. Most fans think spider sense only warns Peter about physical danger, but what if it's much more than that? Some Marvel stories have hinted that spider sense reacts to threats before Peter consciously understands them. If psychic manipulation counts as a threat, spider sense might alert Peter the instant Jean attempts to influence his mind. He may not even know exactly what's happening, but his instincts could immediately resist the intrusion before her telepathy takes hold. Now imagine Jean reaching into Peter's consciousness. Before she can establish control, spider sense activates. Peter instinctively pulls away, changes his thought patterns, or shifts his focus. It's like trying to catch smoke with your hands. Every time Jean gets close, Peter's instincts move him somewhere else mentally. There's another clue hidden in Peter's personality. Humor isn't just entertainment for Spider-Man, it's a defense mechanism. During the most dangerous battles of his life, Peter fills every second with jokes, sarcasm, and random thoughts. Many fans assume he's simply trying to annoy his enemies. But psychologically, humor also prevents fear from taking over. If Jean enters Peter's mind expecting clear emotions to manipulate, she instead finds endless distractions, constant jokes, and unpredictable emotional shifts. His own personality becomes a kind of mental camouflage. But what if Peter's greatest defense isn't his powers at all? It's his morality. Peter Parker has one of the strongest moral compasses in Marvel. Again and again, he chooses responsibility even when it destroys his personal life. That unwavering sense of purpose gives him incredible mental stability. Telepaths often exploit fear, guilt, anger, or desire to influence someone's choices. Peter certainly feels all of those emotions, but they rarely control him for long. His guiding principle, doing the right thing, always pulls him back. That inner conviction could make psychic domination much harder than it would be for someone whose decisions are driven purely by emotion. There's also a scientific possibility. Spider-Man's body isn't completely human anymore. The radioactive spider didn't just give Peter stronger muscles and faster reflexes. It rewrote his biology. His nervous system processes information at incredible speeds, allowing him to react in milliseconds. If his brain functions differently from an ordinary human's, Jeen may have to adapt her telepathy every time she connects with him. Even a tiny difference in how Peter's brain works could make sustained control extremely difficult. Now let's think about Jeen herself. Even if she has the ability to influence Peter's mind, would she actually choose to? Jeen has always understood the responsibility that comes with telepathy. She doesn't casually erase free will or dominate innocent people. Spider-Man is one of Marvel's greatest heroes. Unless there is absolutely no other choice, Jeen would likely try to communicate with Peter instead of controlling him. In that case, her greatest limitation isn't power, it's her own moral code. Another possibility is that Peter simply refuses to give up. This is the same person who has stood back up after losing almost everything. Every defeat, every tragedy, every impossible battle has taught him one lesson: never quit. Mental domination often depends on breaking someone's will, but Peter's will has survived losses that would have destroyed most people. Even if Jeen briefly influences him, his determination may constantly push back until he regains control. Marvel history also gives us examples of powerful heroes resisting telepathic attacks through sheer determination. While Jeen's powers are extraordinary, they aren't completely unstoppable. Strong-minded individuals have challenged psychic influence before. Spider-Man could belong in that category not because he's more powerful than Jeen, but because his unique combination of resilience, spider sense, and relentless determination makes him unusually difficult to control. And then there's the emotional connection between these two heroes. Jeen understands sacrifice better than almost anyone. Peter understands responsibility better than almost anyone. Instead of seeing each other as enemies, they may instinctively recognize the good in one another. That mutual understanding could reduce the need for direct psychic control altogether. Sometimes the strongest heroes don't win by overpowering someone, they win by trusting them. So why can't Jeen control Spider-Man? According to this Marvel theory, the answer isn't a single reason. It's a combination of Peter's extraordinary mental resilience, his constantly active mind, the possibility that spider sense warns him of psychic danger, his altered biology, his unbreakable moral compass, and Jeen's own unwillingness to violate the mind of a fellow hero unless absolutely necessary. None of this has been officially confirmed in Spider-Man. Brand New Day, it's a theory built from Spider-Man's established character traits, Jean Grey's known abilities, and decades of Marvel storytelling. But if Marvel ever places these two heroes on opposite sides of a battle, don't be surprised if Spider-Man proves far harder to control than anyone expected, because Peter Parker's greatest superpower may not be his strength, his webs, or even his spider-sense. It might be the simple fact that no matter what attacks his body or even his mind, he always finds a way to stand back up.